So hello and welcome back to my channel. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Saskia and I did my psychology masters at the University of Nottingham, and I've done this very same video for the University of Southampton of basically just a generic survival guide, generic kind of overview of that university. And obviously with freshers coming up, with moving in coming up, I thought I would do the same thing for Nottingham. So this video will be split and time-stamped at the bottom so you can skip to whatever bit you need to, but I thought I would start with the campuses. So I would say there are 3 relevant campuses, 2 main campuses. Third most relevant campus, Sutton Bonington. You don't hear about it. I don't even know who studies there. I'm going to call it irrelevant, but like you're aware of it. And I'd say it's kind of tied with like, I think there's technically a campus at Queen's Medical Centre, which is like the healthcare bit. People don't talk about that. That's like not a campus. The campuses you will be at, the campuses that I guess are more relevant to the average student, are going to be Jubilee campus. Jubilee campus is quite small. It's about midway between the university itself and like Lenton. You can get between the campuses on a hopper bus. Jubilee campus has the School of Education, Computer Sciences and Business. Even though I did psychology, one of my modules was on here. So again, even though it wasn't my campus, I went here. It is essentially a straight line campus. You walk in a straight line up, there are buildings on the left. You walk in a straight line down, there are buildings on the right. Very easy to navigate, slightly harder to find entrances to buildings. Small campus, again, not that relevant. The big campus, the main campus, is going to be University Park campus. Massive. Biggest campus I've ever been on. Massive. You might be lucky in that the buses will run through the campus, and you might be lucky in that your building is like really close to a bus stop. Mine was very close to a bus stop, but if you have to walk, I pity you. It basically has healthcare, most of the humanities, STEMs. So I was in the psychology building and I could see like pharmacy. I knew liberal arts were like across the pond. We had an arts building behind us. We had chemistry near us. It's kind of your main campus. It's kind of your main area. This will have most things that you look at and utilise. This has the main library, which is the George Green Library. Again, there are other campuses, there are other libraries kind of dotted around, but you have your main library. You then have also got some halls of residence slightly higher up on the campus. I'm not sure if these are all of the halls of residence, but some of them will be like within walking distance to the campus itself and the university. There is then also I think it was the David Ross Sports Village, which is the sports hall. Very big sports hall. There's always something going on there. A little bit out of the way, but kind of relatively easy to get to. Like, it's a little bit distant, but again, the campus is kind of, University Park is just one big circle. Like, there's like there's a student union bit in the middle, buildings, David Ross, a hotel. Relatively, I would say straightforward to navigate, not necessarily easy. Google Maps won't be your friend. Google Maps told me to go the wrong way. Try and print out a map of the campus and just explore a little bit. In terms of transport, which I think is obviously very important, you have 3 main buses that will take you to and from campus. If you're on campus, you don't really need to get a bus, but if you want to get a bus into the city, you can get the 34C, the 35 or the 36. If you're going from the university to the city, the 35 and the 36 are the same thing. Even if you're going from the city to the university, they're the same thing because they only veer off once they pass the university. The 34C will just kind of do more stops around the university. The 35 and the 36 will stop at the main gate and then like a little bit further down near the GP, and then you have to walk downwards. 34C will kind of take you more around, but I had an issue in that there are some variations of the 34C in that some of them will stop up by the David Ross Sports Village, some of them won't. And I don't know how you're meant to figure this out because I had to ask a bus driver and he was like, babe, we're not going there. And I was like, oh, was I meant to know? There are also trams. Trams will go from the university to the city. Essentially, I would say this is the campus. Buses will run along the top and into the middle. Trams run along the bottom. If you're in the bottom half, if you're going to the psychology building, even the student union maybe, pharmacy, like chemistry, healthcare, arts, get the tram. If you're going anywhere near the top, get the bus. Trams, tap on, tap off at the stations. Buses, tap on, tap off. I got the bus. I bought myself, I think it was 100-day tickets, because unlike in most places, they're actual 24-hour passes, which was incredible. So I had a lecture on Monday at like 4 p.m, 4 or 5 or something. So I would leave my house at like 3, something like that. That pass would last me until 3 the next day, so I could then go to my Tuesday morning lectures in 1 ticket. So I would only need 2 tickets to cover Monday and Tuesday. Monday and Tuesday were covered by 1 ticket, Wednesday and Thursday were covered by a 2nd ticket. Student discount is kind of okay. You do have to, it gives you a picture. They've never asked me for my student ID when I was getting the bus, so you're kind of alright. Trams, you sometimes get tram inspectors. Do with that what you will. In terms of the kind of facilities, so things like libraries, there are a lot of libraries. I would say most, I guess, faculties will have a study area / library. So for instance, there is the main library, there is the George Green Library, which I don't know if it's even the main library, it's just the one I would consider the library. But these are my notes. There is a business library, Jangoli Library, George Green, Greenfield Medical, Howard, James Cameron Guildford, the Barn. Lots of campuses, they will all have different things. So I'll put something on screen now. They will all have different things like study spaces, silent spaces, postgrad spaces, calm spaces, group spaces. Basically, go on the library website, pick and choose. I went to the George Green Library maybe twice, and I think it was like middle of term, fucking empty. I didn't go when it was exam season because I didn't really have exams, but there was no one there when I went. In terms of a psychology specific study space, so obviously I study psychology, in the psychology building there are 2 psychology specific study spaces. There is on the first floor, you go in, you go left, and then you kind of go left again. Psychology common area. It will not be a silent study area. You can, take calls in there, people do group work in there. It is a room that is psychology specific. No one was really ever in there when I was in there, unless it was like lunchtime. We then had a postgrad psychology room, which was basically just a computer room. For some reason, University of Nottingham has Macs. I didn't understand how to use them because I'm a Windows girly, so I had to learn how to use a Mac, if that's relevant. Basically had just walls on walls of Macs in the psychology postgrad room. You got given a code for the postgrad room, and then you'd have obviously postgrad students there. Masters, PhDs, this was essentially empty. You could take calls in it, but it definitely gave the vibe of being much more of a quiet space compared to like the undergrad space. You can go into the undergrad space as a postgrad, but like I'd rather go into the postgrad space because it was nicer. They also both had microwaves in. I don't know about libraries and microwaves because I didn't go. They also had hot water machines, I think. And sometimes there'd be biscuits. There was this guy that would always email about biscuits. So check your emails and get biscuits. So then we're going to talk about accommodation. Again, obviously I only did my master's degree here, so I did not stay in student halls of residence. All I really know about the student halls of residence is that they are like at the top of campus-ish. If I can find anyone that's done a video on the halls of residence, I will link them down below. But basically in like 2nd and 3rd year and masters, you're going to live in Lenton. The buses will basically go from campus to the city in a straight line. You will live somewhere along that straight line, like here, here, here. You'll live on the straight line to make it easier for everyone else, because then you can get to like supermarkets and things. That was something I was having an issue at, was when I was looking at campus accommodation, I don't know what's nearby. I'll insert a map if I can find one, but I couldn't find like a gym that was nearby other than the uni gym. I couldn't find like a supermarket that was nearby, so I don't know if that's a bus situation. I could walk from Lenton where I lived. You can also live in the city. That will have a lot more kind of private student accommodation. Those will tend to be like nicer. Again, it's still on the bus line, you'll be fine getting there, you can get the tram. However, they may give priority to Nottingham Trent students if they are like associated accommodations. So in terms of like what's around, what can you do? I didn't go clubbing. I can't offer much support on that. I can't offer support on clubbing. I don't know where the girls go, but they did go. I don't know where, but they did. Cafes, so I would say starting with gyms, I went to the gym, I went to the Radford gym group. There is a Pure gym on the Marina, I think it is, and then there is the David Ross Sports Village gym. There's actually not that many. There are then some in the city, so you either basically live close enough to walk or you get in a bus. Same with like food shopping. If you have a car, that's fine, it's really easy. I could walk to Aldi from Lenton, I could also walk to Lidl from Lenton. There are options. I sometimes also got the bus because, again, if I've paid for the 24-hour ticket, I'd just get the bus in the morning and I'd go shopping. Use your 24-hour ticket as many times as possible. You can get essentially any number bus and it's fine. There are 700 different number buses and they all take really confusing routes, and like there'd be like orange buses are the ones you want. There was also pink ones that would be like, they'd go to the other side of the Jubilee campus and like the other side of my house, and like you could get them, but they then wouldn't take you to the University Park campus. I don't know. There are also, in my undergrad I went to a lot of cafes. I didn't go to as many cafes this time, I wasn't really interested and I didn't have anyone to go with. So the only cafe I went to was Avo Cafe. Cute little space, averagely priced, I guess, I think it was like £4 for a mocha. You know, it's not like Starbucks extortion, £6. Free Wi-Fi, empty. If you live in Lenton, it's on the bus route. No one really goes. Like you can go into the city and go to a cafe if you want a cafe. Avo Cafe is like really tiny and small. I really liked it. I think it was a really nice place. Oh, I will finish up by talking about like societies and sports and that kind of thing. There's a fuck ton. I think every university has so many societies and sports, so many options. I found out about most of them either online or I went to the Freshers' Fair. It was a societies fair. I was absolutely lied to. You just kind of walk around and there's loads of societies. There's Taylor Swift Society, Baking Society, Cocktail Society, 100 different sports societies. Like, there's definitely something that you might want to do. I was personally involved in pole and netball, and that was it. Should have signed up for Taylor Swift because it would have been fun. I didn't. Pole, really nice. Only issue was that you paid like per class, so you couldn't like sign up for a bulk of 20 and then finish lessons. It meant that like you could book in for the first class and then all the other classes would be booked up and you'd be able to book in again for the 5th class, and then they'd go, well, who was here last week? And you go, well, not fucking me. That was an issue. Sometimes I'd have to miss a pole class because netball was on, and eventually I just stopped going to pole because I couldn't make it to I couldn't get to classes because it'd be at the same time as netball, and I found netball more fun because they actually let me play. Netball, again, lots of options. Similarly to when I was in Southampton, you kind of have subject ones and like generic ones. So there was psychology, there was neurology, no, there was psychology, there was neuroscience. I joined neuroscience. I didn't study neuroscience, but try and stop me. They were really nice to me and psychology felt really competitive. There was like a Christianity society, there were like gymnastics society, so there was like subject ones and then other society netball clubs, if that makes sense. Lots and lots of opportunities for sports. There are IMS sports. There is one that's called like Get Involved, which I think you sign up for like a 10-week course and they teach you that sport from beginner. Some of the IMS sports they will also teach from beginner, like they're supposed to. They won't always. Like we had a volleyball team and people joined it that like couldn't play volleyball. I didn't join it because I was really scared. And also the one taster I went to for volleyball really fucking hurt my hand. But like yeah, they teach you from beginner, they teach you from scratch. Again, I would say go to as many of these as you can, especially when they're doing the free tasters, because you will get the vibe of whether you want to go there. Like I went to a taster for a netball club, thought it was fine, went to the first session which was free and I went, actually, I don't enjoy this vibe. Pop to all the tasters, pop to all of the experiences while they're free in first and second week, while they're free in freshers, just go. Get your experience, do as much as you can, especially if you're going to be there for 3 years. Don't let yourself do what I did, which is in first year say, oh my god, I really want to join this society, and then not join it till 3rd year. This is what I did in undergrad, is I really wanted to join aerial hoop. I didn't join it till 3rd year. Imagine I'd had 3 years of that. I'd have had so much fun. But I didn't because I was scared. So, yeah. That is, I guess, my kind of quick overview of the University of Nottingham. Again, I'm not the biggest expert, so I will link videos from people who did like their undergrads there, or like any accommodation tours that I can find, or Q&As like that. If you have any questions, psychology, master's specific, or just about the University of Nottingham, I will see if I can answer them, but I might not be able to, so be kind. And I will see you in my next video. Thank you.